To you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, it's been a while since we had the conversation. I'm sure work at your station is going on fine, especially with concerns that many Nigerians have with regards to pockets of insecurity in parts of the country.
Yes, certainly. It is an acknowledged fact, and it's a universal phenomenon, though. And my belief is that securing a nation or a territory is a work in progress. It's a continuous phenomenon, and working with other security agencies and the civil population, I think we are going to triumph at the end of the day.
Yeah, we pray we do. I'd like us to start with getting your thoughts on the sad incident in Borno State. The president has come out to condemn the bomb attack. Casualties at the last time we heard it was rising to about 18. What's your thought about this? I mean, because for many Nigerians, we thought that, I mean, the fight against these insurgents have gone beyond this. And to see that this can still happen is now causing a lot of people to raise eyebrows and question, did we go to sleep? What did we miss?
Certainly, what we witnessed in parts of Borno, especially Goza area, was a manifestation of the act of cowardice of a receding insurgent group. All this time, the government and the security forces have been on top of the game. The insurgents have gone to their cleavages and they have retreated from main areas of the operation, particularly urban areas where they were so dominant and very disturbing, until they were repressed and particularly contained. Now, the vestiges remaining in the local areas where they are hiding, they are just showing off a little or the much of their capacity as a kind of a drone-in element of the insurgents. There's no cause for alarm, and I believe that the government is on top of the situation. And we must warn strongly, insurgents, wherever they are, they can never prevail. Nigeria will prevail, they will be dominated, they will be decimated. And our people should have faith in governance, they should have faith in what we have on the ground, and we believe in no time the issue, the vestiges of insurgency that remain will be completely eliminated. What we've just seen is just fragment of the receding insurgents in the rural area. And I think time will tell, and we are going to triumph.
There are those who are currently questioning the presidency. I don't know if you had heard, you must have heard it, of course, the situation in Rivers State and the attempted dynamite explosion that was averted. I mean, it was supposed to be targeted at the presidential hotel, but then for whatever reason, some people say thank God that the suspect, the device detonated before they made it to their target. Should we be concerned about these sort of things? Because for many, the advice has been we don't have to wait till it gets to other parts of the country. Is there certain mode of operations that the police can or should activate? Some level of awareness, at least, to ensure that we don't have this sort of things happening again in River State or any part of the country.
Excuse me. Thank you very much. The situation you have just explained, as you are aware, was largely contained. And if not for the containment capacity of River State Police Command, what you have just described could have been more devastating. While the River State Police Command and other security agencies are up in arms, making effort to secure the immediate environment, I want to appeal to all residents of River State to be circumspect. All residents of River State to be very, very proactive and resist enemies of progress, enemies of strangulation, enemies that have the capacity of dragging the hands of the clock back. Let River State work, for God's sake. River State will work for all of us to see and enjoy. Persons who have machinations and design primarily to upturn the peace of River State should give it a serious thinking and retreat. We are going to do more to ensure that peace remains prevalent. But my appeal is to elements that are aggravating this situation to give it a second thought. Nobody is greater than Rivers State. All of us collectively as migrants, citizens, residents, we constitute Rivers State. And mind you, Rivers State, particularly Port Harcourt, is an international city within the Nigerian context. All elements of our nationhood is there. All elements of African brotherhood is there. So we must be able to have consideration for the complexity of the environment we operate in Port Harcourt. And we should be able to give peace a chance. Our political avarice should not override our security consideration and the progress and prosperity of Rivers State. I so plead. Thank you.
All right. To dwell on this a little bit more, some of the things you said, those who question the severity and expected to hear from the presidency, at least to say that for this attempt that was made and failed, perhaps we should have heard something from the presidency. Unfortunately, the president is yet to make any comments in that direction. And there are those that think, oh, maybe because the presidency feels it has a political undertone and it's different from the insurgency situation that we saw in Borno, hence the reason why it's not being looked at in the same fashion. Do you agree with that?
Well, you asked the question and you provided the answer yourself. You are aware that the schematics so described in Port Harcourt and particularly around the presidential hotel area is an offshoot of political activities. And the politics is local. I do not believe that these are issues that are germane to presidential involvement. Politics is local, and the insecurity, particularly the brand that is mooted in Rivers State, is a local affair. So my appeal and my understanding still remain. The local political gladiators should do soul searching and revise themselves. Let all of them work in unity with what is on the ground and let Rivers move to the next level. Dissenting voices propelled through atavistic activities does no one any evil. And of course, it will go a long way to whittle the goodwill any other person has enjoyed there before. So it is important for us to move forward and remain peaceful. We, the local people, should adopt local cohesion, local understanding, supporting the leadership on the ground and supporting the people to make sure that the environment is peaceful. What we have so described has no need or does not concern presidential intervention in any way. It's local schematics orchestrated by local politicians, which we know and which we are appealing to them to give peace a chance and rethink deeply with respect to the interests of.
If these local politicians, like you've classified them, are known, and we know that they are the ones behind some of these things, why haven't they been called into question or even arrested if there's proof to show that they are behind this?
Calling people to order, calling strategic leaders to order are always covert conversation. They are always covert conversation, not overt conversation. So I can assure you that within the strategic level of governance, a lot of reprimands, a lot of calling to order, as you rightly said, is going on. But be rest assured that it's always covert. So nobody will take note, or it will not be made known when it is made, but it is being made. So certainly, governance is different from ordinary human interaction. And I believe that a lot is being done. And I'm very sure that peace and tranquility will prevail at the end of the day.
Okay. We'll come back to this. There's still one more question I would like to ask with regards to it. But let's first push on to another part of this same conversation, which involves the police activities across the local governments, secretariats in Rivers State. As you may know, the council's secretariats are barricaded by the police. And it's not just stopping and then the instruction from the commissioner was protests should not be held because of certain safety concerns to ensure safety of property and lives. And that's the reason why the police says it is barricading the secretariats. But there are those who say, well, in the midst of this order, we have people loyal to the FCT minister still protesting, even after the order that we shouldn't go on any protest was made by the police in Rivers State. And they are beginning to question the fairness of the police in this. That's on one side. On the other side, the activity of the police workers at the secretariat say it's impeding our rights. If you are to protect lives and properties, do you stop us from then going out to do our jobs? In your experience, when you look at this situation, what would be a solution to it? Is the police
simple
within its professional ethics in the manner in which it is conducting its duty?
Sure. I want to remind ourselves that the primary duty of the police is protection of life and property. Whenever situation exists, I repeat, the primary duty of the police is protection of life and property. And whenever it becomes manifestingly clear or it's obvious that the properties or lives can be at risk, the police is duty bound to take proactive measures to ensure that properties and lives are not put to risk. Within that context, that we can interpret the ongoing situation where the police is taking care of the local government secretariat. That fact is a universal fact and is not subject to further debate. Secondly, the presumption that some people, despite police guidelines to stop procession, are still violating same. You must understand it within one context. Two wrongs cannot make a right. Sometimes police will give guidelines on certain conduct. Certainly, some criminally minded people may try to do otherwise, but that do not necessarily mean that there's a bias of reaction by the police. What the police is doing in such situation is to act in circumspect, to ensure that while situation is spilling over, police will not take further action that will cause escalation. That do not mean that they are inactive or they are passive or they are biased, but they are acting in circumspect to ensure that what they have does not spill over. And remember, the fact that two persons of interest are taking certain divisive actions and one remain permanently belligerent is not sufficient for the other party to activate his own adversarial capacity. By so doing, law and order will derail, anarchy will prevail, and the society will be turned upside down. But the most important thing is that civility of approach to any rising situation is an essential ingredient of modern policing. And that is why the police at the moment, the command police as you see them, they are approaching all the sequence of events and activities with civil mindset, employing diplomacy and employing maturity of conduct. The overall strategy is to ensure that peace of the environment becomes very apparent. There's no price to pay to ensure that peace prevails. Even if you give police order to somebody and the person remains belligerent or very overtly unlawful, you need to approach that situation with absolute caution so that a madman does not go does not go haywire and the situation will become combustible. I think that's what the police is doing, and we should commend Rivers State Police Command for the way and manner they have managed the situation in the last 2 weeks. And it's work in progress, and we should expect more firmer and coordinated control of the situation by them. I trust them, and I believe I'm in touch with them, and I believe that in the days ahead, the situation will be resolved in such a way and manner whereby there will be no victor and there will be no vanquished.
All right, we'll continue on this line, but just to bring your attention to a poll we had on X, So we're asking Nigerians, Rivers people, largely to tell us how satisfied they are with the activities of the police in the various council secretariats in Rivers State. And this is what the poll is. We ask if they are satisfied with what the police is doing and how it's handling the situation across the council secretariats. 17.5% of the people said yes, they are satisfied. 55% of them said no, they are not. And 27.5% say they don't care whether the police is, whatever it is the police is doing there. What sort of a message would this send? Do we have to look at how we draw a line to know when the actions that we take, should it be something that, if these actions are directly, positively influencing or affecting the people or negatively affecting the people? We'll get your thoughts on this question and more immediately after a very short commercial. So we encourage you to please stay on the line for us.
Thank you.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Abutu Yaro, and he is joining us via telephone this morning on the show. On Facebook, it is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. If you haven't joined us on Facebook, please do that now. You can watch us live on Facebook and you listen and drop your comments. Let us know how satisfied you are with the activities of the police across the various council secretariats in Rivers State. You heard the poll that we put up on X and the reaction of you, the listener, and people around the world to that poll and what they think about what the police is doing at the various secretariats. So a large number of them say they are not satisfied with the activities of the police at the secretariat. So I'll go back to my guests now to respond to the poll results. Sir, thank you for staying on the line for us. Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. But I want us to remind ourselves in this way. When it comes to public security, the parameter for assessing satisfaction is a highly subjective. Public security is completely and uniquely different from private security or corporate security. Within the context of state security of a subnational environment or national security of a sovereign country, the indices of what defines satisfaction goes largely beyond individual satisfaction. In respect of Rivers State and with particular reference to the scenario you have described, people must take note that the fact that in the last 2 weeks, there is no thing like overt conflagration in the state. There's nothing like a kind of amalgam, so to speak. In as much as there's nothing like a tumultuous riot, tumultuous destruction of properties, tumultuous destruction of strategic national and local assets. To that extent, public security is working on the positive lane, and we must be able to give credit to the security agents for maintaining that serenity as I've so described. Whereas individual assessment is subjective, relative to their own inclinations and persuasions. But on a general note, the performance of the security forces, especially the police in Rivers in the last 2 weeks, with respect to the ongoing situation, has been very, very commendable and perfect assessment on a collateral state security perspective. But individual interpretation may be different. And that, while that is necessary too, the collateral assessment of the situation is more, because collective security of life and property takes precedence over individual assessment or personal purview. I so present my point.
Let's hear from the listener, and I'm pretty sure they have questions to ask you, and also let's hear how many of them agree with the position that you hold on this matter. On Facebook, a few comments already coming in. Emmanuel Silvano says the police is obviously biased, and the man in the studio, he said the guys who destroyed equipment at the same Thanksgiving in Eche, Omoma, are walking about freely. The MOA Council chairman who promised to send anyone who goes to the secretariat to their four parents is walking around freely without any invitation from the police. Yet the police go about proclaiming neutrality. Precious Omalozie says, for me, I'm not satisfied at all with the activities of the Nigerian police. They are aware of the court judgment which vacated the tenure elongation made by why not allow the caretaker chairman appointments and sworn in by the governor to access council headquarters? I think the police is biased. Instead of them taking orders from the governor, they are taking orders from Abuja. Thank God that Twigbu says no sincerity from our police in Nigeria. Tammy Otto says, sometimes I don't know if status quo means police take over council secretariat. Does the IGP know what the status quo is? So it goes on and on. We'll take a few calls. 0817-923-0002. You can also call 0817-923-0003. I'll take those numbers again. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Now, you can call us on any of those numbers to get access to us in the studio. Tell us your name, and quickly you go straight to your question and contribution. My guest is on the line and can hear you as well. Nigerian for good morning. What is your name and where are you calling us from? Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, I said good morning to you and to your guest, Assistant Inspector General of Police. I say welcome to River State and to giving us this wonderful insight. And I say I must commend his grammar. Honestly, it's pleasing to hear. But you see me, when it comes to River State, your guest said what is happening is just local politics. What is happening here, he termed it as local players, you know. And I'm so glad that he called them local players. But you see me, you cannot underestimate what a local player can do, you know, that can adversely affect the state and in return and to an extent the country in general. Thank God he said he also agreed that River State is an international state. You know, it's a very important state to the Nigerian economy. So looking at these players with this eye of local, you know, kind of way, I think they should check it. I think they should not use soft spoon or soft-handedness to handle these local players. They should handle them as much as they handle the players in the north, honestly, because this can escalate to what we cannot control. And you see me, look, it's not bad that security officials are barricading our council, you know. But you see me, I want to ask this, is it not better if these security officials allow the workers to access their offices and do their job? Honestly, stopping the workers from doing their job will definitely affect the IGRO of this state. Is it not better for the security officials to secure the workers? man their workers in different strategic points, man the gates, but allow workers to access their offices so that people can work. Trust me, this is affecting the state. Is this not affecting the state? Please, you should tell us.
All right, Muriel, thank you very much. I'm pretty sure the AIG can hear you, and he would respond to the questions accordingly. We'll take a few more calls and then give him time to respond and come back and take a few more calls. So we'll listen to Wisdom and JJ next, and then my guest would respond before we take any more calls. Wisdom from Rukboku, good morning.
Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Welcome, Wisdom. All right, straight to your question.
I want to commend your guest. I think he has taken time to also explain to some of us of what is really happening in the state. But I must also say that the Nigerian police, to me, is being biased when it comes to the happenings in Rivers State. We were in this state where several council chairmen were threatening help. Like that of Eleme said, if you come to the council, you will meet your forefathers. Local Ikwere said, if you know they born you well, show your face. Or that of Emo, several of it. Who did the commissioner of police or whomever invite for questioning? So I'm just talking in terms of there is one that is being trending online. They call him this Asa Abuja over his comment where he said that they are in support of the government, that they are here to support the governor of the state. They are not to fight or anybody, but they declared him wanted. So are they not being biased in this scenario of what is happening in this state? Okay, look at what is happening in terms of the bomb blast. Up to now, they are still in investigation. When will they come up with the investigation? Thank you.
All right, and then JJ, let's hear you first quickly from Rumigbo.
Yeah,
go ahead,
good
JJ.
Morning. Good morning, sir, officer. I want to thank you for your response over time. Not everybody get that time, but for you, you are very ready to inform the people. Thank you very much. Sir, there was an incident that happened in a share where properties were destroyed. And until today, the people who are responsible with your men, policemen that follow them to do that dastardly act, are working free. Your men, the officer who led the tear gas canister versus water against the governor, what have you done to him at the end of the day? See, sir, let me tell you the truth. This is not putting water in mouth. What your men tried to do on that day of that blast was that they ordered people not to come out to protest. They were expecting that people on the governor's side will come out so that they can tear gas and water cannon them. But for the other people who they used deodorant to pet, they came out, and your people were even escorting them at the end of the day. If your people can tear gas a sitting governor, then they gave an order that people shouldn't come out to protest. They are not the ones escorting the people. Why the insecticide and the deodorant at the end of the treatment? So, sir, your men are part of the plan to cause the state of emergency here, so that they now take it out, face some people, create chaos as a branch of the other people, and now say, oh, River State is not safe, but River State is in God's hand. That will not happen. Thank you, sir.
All right, JJ, thank you. AIG, sir, quickly, you heard some of the callers, starting with the last one, and I'll add this question to it. Is there anything in River State that should call for a state of emergency? Because the accusation now is, from some of the things he says, the police, he thinks, are working with instructions from Abuja to instigate or ensure a state of emergency in River State, or paint a picture as though there is one. From your end, what would be your response?
I want to thank you, and I want to thank the callers for their incisive contributions to the discourse. But I want to remind ourselves in this way. As you're all aware, when incidents takes place and is of a nature of a mob action, the police do not rule out anything. And the flanks of the police are always open to flow in with respect to information to flow in with respect to complaint by individuals and body corporate with respect to incidents. Incident filing is a very, very cardinal aspect of criminal inquisition or criminal investigation. Some of the incidents we talk about, that some of our callers have alluded to the impression that nothing has been done, but nobody was able to mention with precision who filed a report, who made the incident report to a certain wing of the police, and that no action has taken place. That aspect is still very cardinal to security incident management. If it has not been done, it ought to be done. Somebody must complain, or a body corporate must complain of a particular incident.
In other words, AIG, just to interrupt you, if there's seen to be a crime anywhere, if the police hears, let's say if somebody doesn't go and make an official complaint, are we saying that the police is not in a position to perhaps pick
action
up?
But of course, the nature of the action and the feedback reportage will be different from the one that an individual or body corporate files a report. If there's a general incident of a general nature without specificity of filing of report, police takes action. They cordon the scene, they preserve the environment, protect people who are supposed to be adversely affected, and they continue their own simultaneous action. But when no specific person files a report, there will be no feedback mechanism with respect to the way and manner our listener have just so described. I want us to take care of that notion so that we will get guided in our national and local life and security management technique. That is one. Somebody talk about bias. When you say bias, it's easily to have perception. But no matter the amount of perception, it cannot take the place of fact. If you believe, which you are free to have belief, that certain things have gone awry, have gone the other way, you must be able to come with concrete evidence of that biased mode of response by the police. And certainly, by so doing, the appropriate appellant police authority will work on the empirical proof of the bias, and they will correct it. I agree, when things are happening outside your knowledge, outside your control, yes, a casual observer can have some mindset, but mindset does not replace facts. So when situations occur and you have a mindset, try to have empirical proof of your mindset and present logically. Things will be done in a way that's supposed to be done. I want to remind ourselves, police itself is a creation of the law. It's a law enforcement agent. Second, when things happen, you have to normally use the instrument of law, which is providing facts, verifiable facts, empirical facts, to show that certain police operative or certain police unit or police segment or police mechanism at a certain level are biased. And once you bring it out, certainly there will be redress, there will be correction. But there's nothing wrong in people having perception. But perception cannot replace.
What about those people who've had experiences, or even here in the country, we've had various instances where there have been reports, and what we hear is investigation is ongoing, and even till this day, we haven't heard or seen
that is a generic presentation.
Of
Let's
that.
not be specific.
I want to give a specific instance. I want to give a specific instance. If you remember, let me give a specific instance. If you remember, sir, there was a time we had hoodlums infiltrate the National Assembly, took away the mace, and the speculations was that they were led by a particular lawmaker at the time. And we had these hoodlums, and then these things were all in CCTV. I remember the House even set up a committee where the police was invited, and they wanted to know what is happening with the investigations, who have been arrested, and all of that. And I remember vividly what was said. I can't quote word for word, but then paraphrasing. When asked, the officer said it takes a lot of time to do these investigations because it's difficult to identify the people and all of that. And the lawmaker responded by saying, we have CCTVs that captured people that came in here, and we even have provided these CCTVs to you. And the response was, even with CCTV, it might take years before we are able to identify the people and apprehend them. And I think, to the best of my knowledge, that was the last many Nigerians heard of that incident. Now, cases like that, and I'm sure there are several others, don't you think it could be why many people don't have that much belief in how the police conduct its investigations? Because maybe, in their opinion, they do not see the end result of those investigations.
Thank you very much. The way you have put it is very, very, very perfect. But there's still consideration for national security interest. Not all security outcome, investigative outcome of incidents will always be made public because of the national security sensitivity. That is still very, very essential. There are some incidents of very collateral or dangerous circumstances that occur in different parts. If you conduct diligent investigation, the outcome could always be used in refining policy or be part of security re-engineering. Putting it on the information network to the public can have national security implications in some cases. And that is
in the case of the example I gave, does it have any national threat to national unity? Because I'll give another example. In the US, there was a Capitol riot. If you remember the Donald Trump era, and people stormed the Capitol, and then they had all that they had. We saw the police in that country investigate, apprehended many of the people, had cameras, went as far as social media videos that people posted, and got the images of these people. Until date, most of them are still serving time. I mean, and that was something similar to what we saw at the assembly at that time. And for any Nigerians, just to see that these people were apprehended would have given them some confidence and belief in the system, don't you think?
I thank you for comparing the U.S. Security breaches. But I want to remind you once more, that security breaches in the U.S. environment and the attendant fallout can never be on the same template with the one in Nigeria. Security assessment is local. The template for which you use to assess the security barometer of the U.S., if you transpose it to the Nigerian environment, in most cases, it will backfire. So we must be conscious of that. It's not every step that is taken in security management in the U.S. environment can be replicated in our own case. And we must be conscious of that.
Okay.
I agree we can do better. And I agree too, some of the infractions have not been properly managed. But that do not mean that any incident reporting platform that occurs in the U.S. must be replicated in the same manner in our country. It doesn't go. That kind of comparison do not really work out in practical terms.
Okay.
We have to be guided.
All right. Let's take a few more calls now. Nigerian for good morning.
Andrew, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Andrew, it's Cookie Gam, Andrew.
All right. Straight to your question, Cookie Gam.
Andrew, one question I want to ask the AIGs is just one. JJ said that's a chain that go to destroy property and with guns, and it was in social media everywhere. That's a chain local chief of staff. And that the police commissioner declared one case. What happened to that case? What happened to that? Only that one case. What happened to that case? Let him tell us what happened with that case.
Cookie Gam, unfortunately, we didn't get it. But I think I remember the situation you're talking about. I think it was the chief of staff that you're referring to. And the fact that you said he was declared wanted, and what happened with that case, why we didn't get to the end of it. We'll take more calls. Litam Barry and Bori. Cookie Gam, you can try to call back so you make more sense out of what you were trying to say. Litam Barry, good morning.
Good morning, Ifeami, Andrew.
Yeah, good morning
to your guest. Yes, for me, Ifeami, I really want to commend the police in this whole situation for them taking the bold step to ensure that they cap the problem that would have occurred in Rivers State. I commend them very well. They've taken the right step. If the police were behaving like this, I want to say that whoever that is saying the police has not done well is just laughable. Let me ask you, if the police have not come in between these two groups that are agitating to take over the council, can you tell me what would have happened today in Rivers State? Why, even to the extent that people are blaming Chief Tony Okocha for calling for emergency? With the situation be peaceful, that we wouldn't have called for something else today. So I want to commend the police for their effort, for standing by Rivers people, showing that they are really there to secure our lives and properties. And lastly, those who are calling for the consent of the president should not bring the president into this, because I know very well that this situation was what that they seek the president's consent. And the president also contributed as an option to or solution to the problem in Rivers State. But they ignored the idea. All the agreement written were not reached. And today people want to bring the president notice into this whole situation. What did they expect the president to do when he has tried his best to contribute for peace and nobody adhere to his advice?
All right, Leighton Barry.
If you have problem in your house and you meet your father, and your father says, okay, with my experience as a father, this is what you have to do.
Your point has
and
been
you
made.
fail to have done it.
We have to
Can
move
you
on.
be able to call back to your father and say,
We have to move on to another caller now, Leighton Barry. Your point has been noted. Thank you. Manassi is in Rumaholu. Good morning, Manassi. Okay, let's go to Yenegoa. Gift. Good morning.
Good morning, if you may, Andrew.
All right, go on, Gift.
Good morning to the AIG. I remember the election, what he did in Rivers State. God bless you, sir. Yes, I remember. And let me go straight to the point. Andrew, some of us are saying Asa Abuja was declared wanted. They should tell us what he did before he was declared wanted by the Commissioner of Police, Rivers State. Where someone is telling you openly, and the governor has not condemned that, shooting with his two hands, threatening how he will do this, he will do that, and you expect the police to fold their hands, and people who said as you are threatening, come to my local government, because the local government is not a place that you think you will bring those type of threats about killing. And you saw the invasion. The videos are there. The supporters of the governor going to different local governments with arms and ammunition. He doesn't even kill the police officer. The governor has not condemned the police officer that was killed, even when he visited Omoma. And people will be talking sentimentally. Officer, not a father. The police officer, not an uncle to somebody or a husband to a woman. Till today, a governor of a state has not condemned that act. And you are complaining of occupying of local government. That is what is important to you. It is a shame as far as I'm concerned. The police has done well. The people who protested, let me remind you, Governor Jackrish, after this police talk that they are accusing one other party, came out with his people. And in mid yourself, you've not even reported that it is the one of Wike that they are talking. The governor people, recently, Soboma Jackrish, I'm mentioning name, protested. Did the police arrest him or stop him? The only complaint of the police, don't say police should go away from that place. That was what the people that are supporting Wike said. And the police expected them. They are talking of bomb. Bomb that you went to the same government hospital.
Hello, Gift. All right, let's quickly hear from Dr. Ngokana. Gift, I think we got your point. But just to clarify, Gift, please, we do not, let's not say this person supporting this person carried arms. As far as we know, the police will let us know whether it was supporters of the FCT minister or the governor that carried arms. The best of our knowledge, nobody there from any of the parties were carrying arms to hurt or commit any crime. The police would give us that information, just to clarify that. Dr. Ngokana, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Mr. Andrew, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to thank this very senior police officer that is talking to us this morning, and to say that just like a brother from Bayelsa has said, if these people didn't come in, if the police didn't come in to take over these FGAs, we don't know where we'll be today. I want to say that the police, for me, have done well. They are taking charge, because we cannot live in a state where nobody is taking charge of anything. The governor the last time said the council chairman, caretaker chairman, and from here. It's not because I want to go people here. Mind you, we say have no department to time ago. And the police are in with their eyes. The governor went to Omuma where we were told that 2 or 3 persons were gone down. No, never. I don't know. There was a zero. The rest we were going to talk to them. We are not. Everyone that carry their body to bury. Those who didn't lose somebody, we think that it's a bunch of firewood. It's high time.
All right, daughter.
We begin to realize that we are all human beings and we need to work together. I appreciate the police.
Thank you very much.
Police officer, thank you this morning for talking to us. Madam Dasagokana, thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, daughter. Jude from Momoma, unfortunately, we don't have all the time. I don't think we can accommodate your call. Apologize for that. We have to come over to my guest to get his reactions and final thoughts on the conversation, because there's still one more very important issue we'd need to get your response to, and that would concern the situation with the recruitment of constables. So I would like you to also respond to that immediately after you give your thoughts concerning the opinion of the callers on the matter at the moment. So, AIG, sir, if you can still hear us. Hello, sir.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
So you heard the callers and their position. But so what would be your advice in the situation now going forward? Because as it still stands, the police still are at the various council secretariats. And the last we heard was certain court judgments are being waited to move up.
We need to take in our community, in our township, and in our country. If the police presence in the local secretariat here to peaceful River State Department to be join all of us. Whatever disposition you have, whatever level of engagement you have, this or council, let us make personal sacrifice. I agree, actions, agree, and agree different from me above you. Peace and security is paramount. We will not be able to ensure that we endure the event. In addition by food or violation, areas of your community, please avail these assets. Link you
this is not the first under the president also PSC. I think it's the confusion
by secretariats specialized assessment platform that's created by law and has technical preferences with respect to the determination of who's supposed to be a police officer.
They are